My Friend, Vampira by Segalen Valente. SOS Vampira. One afternoon, after school, I took out a book I had borrowed from the library called Scare Me, Vampire. I opened it and inside I found a little purple card with silver writing on it. A girl who thought she was a vampire and said she could solve any problem? How strange. Mum had gone out to the shops, so I sat down at the computer. Hello, Vampira. I have just started at a new school and I am desperate. I would like to make at least one friend. I'm prepared to try anything, swallowing worm puree, covering myself in spider webs, spending a whole night in a cemetery. I hope you can solve my problem. Soon. Emma. I clicked send and hoped this strange girl would answer quickly. Suddenly, a loud noise made me jump. I hurried into my bedroom. The cupboard had swung open. All my clothes and toys were in a heap on the floor. And there was a strange smell. Then I got the shock of my life. A white hand with long, thin fingers and pale nails was poking out of the cupboard. I tried to speak but only managed a whispered squeak. Is anyone there? There was no answer. I wondered if it was Rosie, a girl in my class who was not very nice to me. Maybe she was playing a joke on me. I grabbed my tennis racket so that I could defend myself in case I was attacked. Then a girl burst out of the cupboard. It was not Rosie. The girl twirled round my desk waving her arms wildly and knocked over my pen pot. Hiya. She said. How's it flowing? What? How's it what? How's it flowing? Oh, sorry. I mean, how's it going? Yeah, it's flowing. It's okay. No. But. The girl did an amazing cartwheel, grabbed hold of the curtain rail with her feet and hung upside down in front of me. She said, Deadly, aren't I? I want to train to be a rhythmic gymnast. You know, that cool sport you guys do. But then she slipped and fell onto the radiator. She stood up looking a bit stunned and started to laugh. It's flowing, it's flowing. She rearranged her cape on her shoulders. Then she held out a hand for me to shake. I'm Vampira. Pleased to bite you. At last I understood. The little card in the library book was from a real vampire girl. It was not a joke. Chapter 2. Creepover. Emma discovers that Vampira is a real vampire. It's not a joke. Vampira smiled, and I saw her long pointed fangs. Her eyes sparkled and she was wearing pretty bat-shaped earrings. I stammered, Pleased to bite you. Meet you, Vampira. I'm Emma. I put down my racket and shook her hand. It was icy cold. Normal, I guess. Well, normal for vampires. Not that I knew much about what was normal for vampires. Sorry about that mist in your cupboard. She said. Do you mean mess? Mess, of course. Said Vampira. Don't worry, I will tip it up. Tip? Oh, that's poo. You say tidy, don't you? I'm mixing up my worms. It's the first time I have been here. She smiled and so did I. Thanks for the invitation. I was really fried up with the library. Do you live in the library? I asked. No way. I pinched this 24-hour pass from my big sister. We have to go through the vampire books in the library to visit you guys. Really? I have come to find a birthday present for my friend Draculina. So there are no shops where you come from? I asked. There are, but I wanted to come here to find something a bit different. Draculina and I love everything pink and there is not much pink in the vampire world. Right, where's my bed? Why, are you staying the night? It will be cool. We can have a creep over. Yeah, so long as you creep out by the morning. I replied. There are, but I wanted to come here to find something a bit different. Draculina and I love everything pink and there is not much pink in the vampire world. Right, where's my bed? Why, are you staying the night? It will be cool. We can have a creep over. Yeah, so long as you creep out by the morning. I replied. We burst out laughing. It was the first time I had met a vampire girl and I was really happy. I started tipping up my cupboard to make room for Vampira when all of a sudden, I heard a loud noise. I turned round. My friend was slumped on the ground and looked like she was going to faint. I patted her on the back to try and wake her up. "How's it flowing?" "Vampira?" "Thirsty," she whispered. "Blood." "Blood? But I don't have any. Unless." I went down to the kitchen with my new friend leaning on my arm. I put 3 frozen hamburgers into the microwave. Then I pressed them with a fork to make the juice come out. Vampira took out a black straw and sucked the blood out of the hamburgers. The hamburgers became as white as chicken fillets. Vampira immediately got her strength back. She jumped up and did 2 round-offs. I threw the white urgers in the bin and put the plate in the dishwasher. Then I heard a key in the door. It was Mum. I hurried Vampira back to my room. "My mum is home. You need to hide." She did a somersault and landed behind the curtain. Chapter 3. Emma gives Vampira blood from some burgers and tells her to hide. Emma's mum is home. As good as gold. I just had time to shut the door of the messy cupboard and to open the window to get rid of the smell. Mum came into my room. "Hello, Emma, is everything okay?" "Yeah, fine, just fine." Mum gave me a kiss. A draft made the curtains move. I could see one of Vampira's pointed shoes sticking out from under them. Luckily, Mum didn't notice and left the room. I shut the door and hurried over to the curtain. "How's it lowing, Vampira?" Super," she said. "Sorry about that, but Mum says I must never let people into the ooze when I'm on my own." "Don't worry, I will be as good as gold." "Want a sweet?" "You can have a fizzy blood flavor one or an exploding mouse," Vampira said. "Yuck. No thanks. I'm all right." Vampira gobbled down 3 sweets and sat down on my bed. "Right," she said. "So, what's your problem, then, Emma?" "My problem? Oh, nothing. I will be fine. It will sort itself out." I didn't want to think about it, but as Vampira was waiting, I had to explain. "I have no friends at school yet. Mum and I just moved here. I like Lola, but she is friends with Rosie and Rosie acts like she hates me. Today she said I stole her pencil sharpener." Vampira nodded. "A friend problem. Easy." "What do you mean easy?" "It's a 1, 2, 3 sleep spell. Tomorrow I will come to your school and sort out Rosie and Lola or whoever. It will be done in 30 seconds, don't worry. Friends forever." I ate my supper quickly so that Vampira would not be alone for too long. I said goodnight to Mum and secretly took a piece of frozen meat up to my room so that it could thaw overnight. I lent Vampira some pink pajamas that I didn't often wear because I didn't like pink. She loved them. "They are so cute. Will you swap them for my earrings?" She took off her earrings and handed them to me. "I'm so glad we met," she said. "Me too," I answered. Then I asked her if she wanted to sleep in my bed. "I prefer the cupboard," she said. "It's more like a coffin." I smiled and got into bed. She climbed into the cupboard. Before falling asleep, I thought about Lola. She would soon be playing with me in the playground and being nice to me and inviting me to her house and telling me her secrets. I was so lucky to have met Vampira. Chapter 4. 1, 2, 3, Sleep. The next morning I put on my new earrings before going to school. Vampira rearranged her crumpled cape in front of the mirror and took some dark glasses out of her bag. She said, "I updated my 1, 2, 3 sleep spell last night. I'm on it now. Let's get to school. I'm right behind you." I felt really happy as I took Vampira's arm. Luckily, Mum was in the bathroom. "See you tonight, Mum." I shouted as we left the house. We were the first to get to school. Suddenly, we saw Rosie on the pavement opposite. She was ignoring us and had a sneering smile on her face. Vampira said, "Is she your problem?" "Yes, that's Rosie," I said. My vampire friend shot across the road and stopped right in front of Rosie. "You will be Emma's friend forever." "Really?" said Rosie. I caught up with Vampira and whispered, "She's the wrong one. I want to be friends with Lola, not with Rosie." But Vampira was not listening. She took a deep breath and stared straight into Rosie's eyes as her cape billowed. She said in a spooky voice, 1, 2, 3, sleep. You will be Emma's friend." I shouted. "No, Vampira." It was too late. Rosie was not Rosie anymore. She stared wide-eyed at me. Her eyes sparkled weirdly. She smiled and said, "Sorry, Emma. I know you didn't take my pencil sharpener. It fell down a drain." Vampira was delighted. I'm not usually very good at hypnosis, but I think I have done a good job this time. You can tell me all about it tonight. I'm going shopping. Vampira kissed me goodbye and vanished. Then I felt a hand on my ear. It was Rosie touching my bat earrings. "They are lovely," she sighed. "Shall we swap earrings for the day?" "Swap earrings?" I said, to make sure I had understood properly. "I have never dared to tell you, Emma, but I really like you. I wanted to be your friend since you first came to our school." Wow! Rosie had turned into a nice person. Chapter 5. Friends Forever. Rosie followed me around all day like a robot, in the playground, in the canteen. And even when I went to the toilet. She begged the teacher to let her change place in class so she could sit next to me. Then she spent all the time chattering to me, so we got told off. At break time, I said, "Why don't you go and see your other friends?" "It's fine with me." "But I love you," Rosie said. "I adore you. We are the best friends in the whole world." It didn't matter what I said. Nothing put her off. If Vampira didn't cancel her magic spell before she went home, I would be stuck with Rosie for the rest of my life. That evening on the way home, I met Vampira coming out of a Chinese supermarket with lots of shopping bags. "It's all flowing well," she said. "I found a present for Draculina. It's a pink necklace, bracelet, and ring set with sequin hearts. It's so unusual." "Really?" "My 24-hour pass is almost over," said Vampira. "I have to go home. Thanks for putting me up in your coffin, I mean cupboard. But, Vampira, before you leave, you have to unhypnotize Rosie." "Why? Was the spell too powerful?" "Yes, and you made a mistake too. I wanted to be friends with Lola, not Rosie. Oops. The problem is that I have only 4 minutes left." For a second I wondered if we would make it. Then I said, "We can do it in 4 minutes." I raced home to phone Rosie. "Rosie, you have to come round to my house, now," I shouted. "I really want to see you too, Emma. I miss you." She said, "Hurry. Run." Then I hung up. Vampira was going to disappear in 3 minutes and 20 seconds. But we could still do it. Rosie lived next door. I paced up and down the sitting room with my eyes glued to the front door, waiting for Rosie to arrive. "She will wake up from my spell on her own in 6 months, said Vampira. "Wait. She will be here any minute." "I can teach you the anti-hypnosis spell," said Vampira. "You can wake her yourself." She began to explain about vocal cords, eyes, shaking shoulders. But I was too nervous to listen to her. Just then, the doorbell rang. It was Rosie. I was saved. Chapter 6, 1, 2, 3, Wake Up. I ran to open the door and Rosie jumped up to hug me. I was so surprised that I lost my balance and we both fell over. "Sort her out," Quick! I yelled at Vampira. There were only 40 seconds left before Vampira's pass ran out. Vampira stared at Rosie, but no magic spell came out of her mouth. She muttered, "Oh no. How does the spell go, again?" "What? Have you forgotten?" I gasped. "What spell?" asked Rosie. Vampira sighed deeply. "We have not done that chapter in school yet. Anyway, I failed my last spells test. I'm not very good." Vampira stared at Rosie, but no magic spell came out of her mouth. She muttered, "Oh no. How does the spell go, again?" "What? Have you forgotten?" I gasped. "What spell?" asked Rosie. Vampira sighed deeply. "We have not done that chapter in school yet. Anyway, I failed my last spells test. I'm not very good." "Don't leave me like this," I begged. "What? What do you mean, like this?" asked Rosie. "I can't put up with her for the rest of the year," I said to Vampira. "Who are you talking about?" asked Rosie. Then I yelled like I had never yelled before. "You!" There was a long silence. Then I saw that Rosie's eyes looked different. They were not like a robot's anymore. She had woken up and was normal again. I was saved. Well, kind of saved. For a second I thought maybe she would go back to being horrible like before. But to my surprise, she didn't seem to hate me anymore. "What am I doing here? Where am I?" she asked, looking confused. "And what's that funny smell?" "Don't worry, you are at my house," I told her. "Do you want to sit down for a few minutes?" We went and sat on the sofa so that she could recover. "That's funny, you have the same earrings as me," she said. "That's because they are yours. You have my bat earrings. You wanted to swap them this morning." "Oh really?" "Right. Sorry, Emma." "No problem." I had managed to wake Rosie and now she was being nice to me too. "Don't worry, you are at my house," I told her. "Do you want to sit down for a few minutes?" We went and sat on the sofa so that she could recover. "That's funny, you have the same earrings as me," she said. "That's because they are yours. You have my bat earrings. You wanted to swap them this morning." "Oh really?" "Right. Sorry, Emma." "No problem." I had managed to wake Rosie and now she was being nice to me too. We swapped earrings again and she got up to go home. She gave me a hug as she left, as if we had always been friends. I would have walked her home, but I had to say goodbye to Vampira. After I shut the door, I searched the whole house for Vampira. She had vanished. Her 24 hours were up. When Mum came home, I asked her, "Can I invite some friends round on Wednesday after school?" "Friends? Great. There, you see? You didn't have to worry." There was just one mystery. I never found the pink pajamas I had lent to Vampira for the night. I thought about sending her a message to ask her to bring them back. That way my super cool friend would come and visit again. I could not wait to scare her. See her. The end.